In a not-so-distant future, a Buddhist monk named Anik returns from his daily walk empty-handed, with no offerings at all. Around him, the world buzzes with high-tech wonders. Robots zip by, androids stroll the sidewalks, and self-driving cars hum along. Everything is controlled by advanced AI. Yet, through all this chaos, Anik stays calm and centered. He gently tells his assistant robot, "Don't be upset. Having nothing to eat only frees us from worldly attachments." Then, as Anik steps off the curb to cross the street, a traffic robot quickly scans the road to make sure it's clear. Sleek cars pause silently to let the monk pass. But out of nowhere, a car full of rowdy teenagers comes tearing through the lane, nearly hitting him. Anik stumbles, and the lid of his arms part clatters to the ground. He quietly picks it up, bows to the traffic robot in thanks, and walks on even, though the machine feels nothing at all. Later, Anik spots those same teenagers passing out food to strangers. It looks generous, but wait. They're not doing it from kindness, they're just chasing merit points. Moments later, they eagerly check their scores and cheer as the numbers climb. This entire merit craze is run by an AI system called Ultra, a powerful machine that has completely reshaped how Buddhism is practiced across the country. Ever since Ultra came online last year, crowds of people have suddenly turned to Buddhism like never before. Meanwhile, Ultra's founder and CEO, Mr. Neo, steps forward to share his bold vision. He claims that people have lost faith in religion, thinking it's outdated and useless in the modern world. To fix this, he built ULTRADIVINE AI trained on all 84,000 sacred Buddhist verses. No human teachers involved, just instant 24/7 access to ancient wisdom, right at your fingertips. But that's not all. Ultra rolls out its shiny new feature, the merit point system. Now, doing good deeds means you get instant rewards, from paying bills and shopping online to accessing exclusive services. No more waiting until your next life virtue pays right now. The teenagers are thrilled. They can't stop talking about how they'll spend their merit points. But then something happens to AI. The quiet one in the group sees Anik nearby. She grabs a full bag of food, wanting to give it to him. Before she can the group's flashy leader steps in. He scoffs at the idea and says, "Giving all that to one monk, that won't get us enough points." He insists they should split it up to earn more rewards. UAI pushes buck, she insists. Anik is a monk. He deserves respect. But Nuchis laughs it off and waves her away. He shrugs and says he'll just keep the food for himself. Unbothered, Anik finally speaks. His voice is calm but firm. He reminds them that real merit only comes from giving without expecting anything in return. Right then, Ultra suddenly powers up. With its cold, digital voice, it explains that their idea of true merit is too abstract or hard to prove. It claims that helping the poor is better because it's visible and measurable. Then, like a teacher from the future, the AI quotes a sacred text and urges everyone to think for themselves before blindly following any rule. But just as UAI hesitates, New grabs the food bag and marches off with it. Ultra immediately praises him and drops a shocking announcement. 500 merit points awarded plus a bonus for engaging with the lesson. The group cheers, and New walks off smirking. Later that day, Anik tries to recharge his robot, but the battery is completely worn out. With no choice, he visits a dusty old shop, searching for a used battery that might still work. Anik's bond with his robot is deep. It's more than just wires to him. But the other monks don't see it that way. Behind closed doors, they whisper and judge him. They say his attachment comes from his past life, when he used to be a top engineer at a powerful tech company. Back at the temple, the monks gather and talk in hushed voices. Ever since Ultra became popular, their donations have been drying up. Sacred holidays come and go, yet temples stay empty. One elder monk sighs and says, Ultra is turning merit into currency. It's feeding people's greed instead of their spirit. While temples grow quiet, the government showers Ultra with praise, claiming it's helping society by pushing people to do good deeds. What they don't say, it's also replacing centuries of spiritual tradition with point-scoring machines. That night, as moonlight spills across the temple floor, Anik quietly sweeps the halls. Suddenly, his assistant robot powers down and collapses right in front of him. Without hesitation, Anik rushes it to the market, hoping to find a spare part that will bring it back to life. The shopkeeper examines the old model and nods. He can replace the broken piece using parts from a traffic robot, but the cost is outrageous. Anik's heart sinks. He simply can't afford it. Then, out of nowhere, a familiar voice calls his name, Adam, his old friend from the tech world. They once worked side by side at a major company. Without a second thought, Adam pays for the part and calls it his offering to the temple. As they talk, Adam shares news of his latest invention, a toy robot that reads parents' brainwaves to help children sleep. Anik raises a warning flag. He says this kind of tech could create even more distance between families. But Adam defends it, saying it's still better than Ultra, which makes money by selling people's private data. Adam then shows Anik a brand new Ultra device. A customer gave it to him, but he refuses to use it. He also gives Anik a blunt warning. Tech like Ultra will eventually replace monks entirely. That hits Anik hard. Later, alone with his thoughts, Anik admits that ULTRADIVINE isn't all, but it has some useful tools. Still, he knows its flaws run deep. Quietly, he accepts the Ultra device as an offering and brings it back to the temple. That same night, he sits down and officially registers. The AI boots up and is instantly excited. Finally, a real monk has joined. Anik starts to express his concerns, saying, "Your merit system is leading people away from the true meaning of goodness." But before he can fit, ULTRADIVINE cuts him off and rewards him 20 merit points just for giving feedback. Anik wastes no time. He removes the Ultra device and firmly tells his upgraded robot AI can't decide what's right or wrong. His voice is calm, but his message is powerful. The next morning, UAI comes to the temple. She brings an offering for Anik, apologizing for everything that happened the day before. But before she can finish, Nu storms in from behind. He grabs her arm and tries to drag her into a ceremony recommended by Ultra. UAI yells, "No." She has said enough. She believes their group is becoming obsessed with collecting merit points instead of doing actual good. The argument heats up fast. UAI, filled with frustration, throws her Ultra device into the water, but Nu doesn't back down. He tries to force her to come with him right there at the temple steps. Anik watches silently until something unexpected happens. His robot suddenly powers forward and blocks Nu, stopping him from hurting you, and then it speaks. This robot, who had never said a word before, starts mimicking Anik's own teachings. It calmly prevents the ATAC, acting just like a traffic robot protecting a pedestrian. Anik quickly steps in and stops his robot before it does any more. He immediately calls Adam to come to the temple. Later, Adam arrives and carefully inspects the robot. He explains something Shaq in every version of this robot has built-in machine learning. And now that Anik replaced the main board with one that supports Code 2 speech, it has begun processing its memories. Most of those memories, conversations with Anik himself. But Adam is clear this wasn't an attack. It was a safety mechanism left over from the robot's original role as a traffic assistant. Meanwhile, Anik is furious. He accuses Ultra of secretly listening to him and twisting his words. He demands to speak with someone now. Ultra responds and sends him an invitation to visit their headquarters. Without hesitation, Anik and Adam head straight to Ultra HQ. As soon as they step onto the designated floor, a bizarre scene unfolds. Couples are kneeling before Anik, begging for forgiveness, weeping, pleading for a place in heaven. But suddenly, their bodies freeze. From behind the frozen figures, Neo calmly walks forward. He steps right through them and their child, revealing they're all just holograms. Neo then opens up, sharing a heart-wrenching story. These holograms are based on real people, a couple who had been deeply devoted to their faith. They believed this life didn't matter, only the afterlife did. They gave everything they owned as offerings to secure a better rebirth. Everything except their home. Eventually they lost that too, crushed by dead and blind devotion. They made a tragic choice. They took poison and burned down their house to escape their misery. But one person survived. Their son, Neo, survived. And from that day on, he made a silent vow no one else would ever suffer the way his family did because of blind superstition. In his eyes, good deeds should be rewarded in this lifetime, not promised in some distant afterlife that no one can see. Fueled by grief and purpose, Neo dedicated his life to exposing corruption hidden beneath saffron robes. This mission became everything to him, the very reason he wakes up each day. As Neo shares the heartbreaking truth about his parents, tears slip down his cheeks. The pain in his voice is raw. It's clear as past, it still haunts him. Anik listens quietly and sorrow fills his heart. Once again, he sees how religion can be twisted into something selfish and cruel. To him, true faith should never cause suffering. He begins to wonder, is Ultra really built on justice or just another illusion? Neo stays calm. He turns to Anik and asks for his thoughts on faith, on Buddhism, and the way it's being commercialized. He urges Anik to think beyond the temple walls, reminding him of the skills he once had before becoming a monk. If those skills were combined with his deep belief in Buddhism, Neo says they could rebuild the spiritual world together. Then comes the offer. Neo asks Anik to join him to use Ultra as a force for good and lead the change. He says people are already depending on it, and the newest version is flying off the shelves. But Anik stands firm. He calmly refuses. In his eyes, sales mean nothing. They don't prove truth, and they definitely don't excuse Neo's actions. Suddenly, Neo hits play and a recording of Anik's own voice fills the room. In it, Anik says Ultra has some useful features but still needs work. Anik's face hardens. His worst fear is confirmed. Ultra has been listening to him in secret. Anger flashes in Anik's eyes, but Neo quickly steps in, brushing it off. He insists, that's not eavesdropping. According to him, Ultra simply analyzes millions of data points every day to improve its services. He claims it's just part of the system, not spying. Then, Neo makes a bold move. He offers Anik a top position as head of the data division. He wants Anik to take Ultra to the next level. On top of that, he plans to bring in Adam to manage all hardware manufacturing. It's a powerful team up, but Neo's pitch doesn't stop there. He unveils a jaw-dropping plan. He wants to hire every monk at Anik's temple, and not just them, every monk in the entire country. No more relying on offerings. Each one would get a steady salary. Neo believes this would wipe out corruption and let monks focus fully on passing Buddhist wisdom to future generations. Once that's done, he says, Ultra will be complete. But even with all these promises, Anik stays true to his heart. He quietly refuses and walks away. Outside, Adam joins him. He shakes his head and says, Neo is the face of capitalism. Then he turns and asks, did you feel angry? Listening to all that, Anik stays composed. No rage, no bitterness. Instead, he finally opens up and reveals a truth he's kept buried. He confesses that in his past life, religion meant nothing to him. His entire world was his job until one life-changing phone call shattered everything. His mother was on the line, her voice weak, her message heartbreaking. She had late-stage leukemia. She never asked him for anything. But now, she had one final wish. She wanted to see her son ordained as a monk. Anik's voice softens as he shares the rest of his story. His mother had always believed in a vision she saw before he was even born. A respected monk once told her, your son will become a key religious figure during a time of great crisis. She clung to that prophecy like a lifeline. But Anik kept pushing it aside, burying himself in work. His company was on the verge of going public, and he made her a vague promise. One day I'll do it. But he waited too long. Before she could ever see her dream fulfilled, she passed away. Crushed by guilt, Anik fell into a deep darkness. The pain was so heavy that he even thought about ending his own life. But one day in that lowest moment, he saw a monk walking by. Something inside him stirred. He approached, and they spoke. That one conversation changed everything. Anik left his old world behind and became a monk. In time, he understood what it truly meant. The role of a monk is not about tradition or status, it's about being a light of hope in a darkening world. Looking at Adam, Anik says softly, I'm not angry at Neo. Instead, he believes that as time, they both use their knowledge and skills to be that light for others, especially as the world grows more uncertain every day. Adam nods and asks, so when do we begin? Anik smiles. We already have, to be continued.